Hello everybody, welcome into the FastTrack Sim Racing Cup Series here on Ghost Racing Network. Getting ready for the green flag here at Sonoma Raceway. First road course of the season, and we are certainly excited for it. Let's get down trackside, get right into tonight's starting grid. A little bit of a longer qualifying session for these guys. Allow some of them an opportunity to get some things sorted out. So starting on your front row, how about Tyler Marble? Another good qualifying effort for him. Austin Fitzgerald as well. He is going to be starting on the outside pole. Cody Richardson in third, Andrew Nieder fourth, Joshua Watson and Andrew Kotska making up row three. It's going to be Adrian Watson seventh, Jeff Marble eighth, Jeff Shutt in ninth. He's been having a string of good runs lately. And Matthew Cox with good effort here in qualifying tonight, rounding out your top 10. Scott Naisland sits 11th. 12th is going to be Jeffrey Souza moving back down. Jacob Musso 13th, Brian Conklin 14th. Scott Glasso 15th. He's got Johnny McCulchuk to his outside in 16th. Jerry Isaacs and Alan Pajari make up row 9, and it's Bill Benedict and Thomas O'Hara rounding out your top 20. Cody Colley in 21st, Cody Matthews 22nd, Ryan Haynes 23rd, Todd Shiro 24th, Richard Elliott in 25th, Tracy Powers in 26th, Matthew Gieringer in the 31 car starts 27th with Kyle Oakley in the 17 to his outside in 28th, Glenn Grigsby in 29th, Jared Bundy in 31st, and Ryan Shiro rounding out the field tonight in 32nd. A little bit smaller than what we're used to seeing, but again, you kind of expect that here on the road course. But nonetheless, very excited for the racing we're about to experience. A very interesting track, a lot of different factors that is going to decide the winner here tonight. Could we see a road course specialist swoop in to get their first win of the season? Here we go. Pace car has pulled off, rolling up, down to the final turn into the Geico restart zone, and we are green at Sonoma. Pretty good start here. Everybody's going to dive it into the first turn. Got to get a little bit single file here on this first, but this is a good action. I take that back. These first two corners are a little bit of good passing zone. Oh, we already have contact further back here. One off. Joshua Watson looks like he kind of got bodied off the track. Going to get that thing back rolling, but he's going to lose probably about 10 positions in the making. Meanwhile, the rest of the field's still trying to jockey it out for position. Couple more passing zones coming up before we have that long single file line of kind of the S-curves, if you will, and you can't really go side by side through that. We're going to see guys all funnel down. Tyler Marble's going to be the first one to get through it. He's not going to have to worry about that. Keep an eye on these two here to see how they decide to sort it out. No, Andrew Nieder's going to go ahead and try to keep him side by side. We'll see how this works out. If it does, Austin Fitzgerald hits the curb off the track. They finally do sort it out, and you can see through just about the rest of the field. They are all single file. You can't go double file through this section of the track. It's just too narrow. I think we're going to see some guys maybe try it on late restarts, but I certainly don't expect anything now. Ooh, looks like Austin Fitzgerald has had maybe a little bit of an issue here. Falls a couple spots. He's going to lay a little bumper to the back of Cody Richardson as they all make their way down into turn 11. Back up through the gears on the fast front straightaway. Probably the fastest portion of the track for these guys. And then the uphill into the first kind of set of S's. Not really. This is kind of the first area you set yourself up for a pass. You can kind of make one going into that first turn after the start-finish line. Nobody's decided to do so yet. We didn't get time for it just before we started. Got here a little late. Apologize to everybody for it. And before we continue on that, looks like Cody Matthews, maybe he's got some issues back here. Ooh, looks like the 10 machine maybe went off track a little bit. No damage again. We're not probably going to see much damage to a lot of these guys that we go to that you see spinning out, but at a road course there's going to be a lot of spins. There's going to be a lot of guys with issues, but the way the caution works is a little different tonight. We'll talk about that in just a moment, but I do want to go ahead and go over your race info. Although we have already started, we are at beautiful Sonoma Raceway here for the Sonoma 109 for the FastTrack Sim Racing Cup Series. 55 laps tonight. We've already ticked off a couple. 100% fuel as always, 3 sets of tires. No fast repairs, open setups, 3 green-white checkers. Looking more at Sonoma itself. A little bit of a smaller track, under 2 miles, but again, it is a road course. Track temp today, very hot at a scorching 103 degrees Fahrenheit. Not the hottest, though, we have seen. Weather outside a little bit nicer at 68 degrees Fahrenheit, 61% humidity, partly cloudy skies, and winds at 8 miles an hour. And direct your attention to that track map there, right to the middle of your screen. You see on that first little uphill sector, that's going to be turn 1. You got a couple more curvy turns, and then this straightaway all the way down about halfway through the track. This is where, guys, that's the first passing zone, and that's somewhere, I believe, might be turn 6. Not 100% sure exactly the turn number of it. And then it's those kind of the turns, we like to call it the S section, kind of a rhythm section for all these guys. The goal of it is to run as fast as you can, not so much make a pass. And then turn 11, final turn on the circuit, that is the biggest, most opportune passing zone, and I think that's where we're going to see a lot of guys try to make their move here tonight. I think we've had a couple more drivers scooting their way a little bit through the grass. Still nobody with any incidents, nothing to be of worry, that's for sure. And looking into the caution format, the way it's going to work tonight, that we're talking about, a little different here. We know from Johnny McCulchuk, our in-race reporter, as we would like to call him here, he says that these guys can go about 30 to 35 laps, so we would be expecting one stop under green, but we could have a caution. The way it seems like it's set up is once these guys hit a certain number of incident points, I guess in total, that will generate a caution. So let's say we have drivers have already accumulated, let's just say example, throughout the field 16 incident points, and the limit was, say, 25. If we have 3 more drivers spin out, eventually on one of those we might see a caution fly. Just going to be interesting. Let's go through the field here and see how some of the racing's looking here early. Looks like Scott Naslin up a position from where he started. A lot harder to get those positions here at the road courses, but you know, for a lot of guys that aren't looking, well, they weren't looking forward to Sonoma, and they probably aren't too excited to be at this track. Everybody's looking nice and clean here early. I know we've had a couple spins, but you know, no harm, no foul for most of these guys. Everybody diving into that. That is one of the turns where you can set up for a passing zone. And right here, this is probably the second biggest passing zone right here, where you see Jacob Musso. You'll see a lot of guys maybe look for a dive bomb down into that corner, kind of try to throw their weight around on the rumble strips. The nice rhythm section, very fast part of the track, and a very easy spot on the track to make a mistake. Dave Sanders just looks like went through right in the grass a couple laps ago. He seems to recover now. A little bit of a lockup right there. I believe that was that Richard Elliott? Sure enough, it looked like it was. Maybe Tracy Powers with an issue as well. There's Cody Matthews, and Ryan Shearer looks like is off track. He must have had an issue. But up front, it is still all Tyler Marble. Cody Richardson in second. Looking really good on the road course as well, but you know, Tyler Marble, he'd like to get himself a win here. He's been looking for one, and if this is any indication, he is absolutely destroying the field right now. He has almost a 6-second lead. Only 5 laps in. He's making almost a second a lap on the rest of the field. He's definitely looking good. We'll see what Cody Richardson has to say about that. We just talked about him in second in the 46, up a position from where he started. Austin Fitzgerald is down a position, currently sits in the top 3, though still. Andrew Kotska for Team Watson Racing in 4th, Adrian Watts in 5th. Jeff Marble, the Tyler Marble teammate for Team Marble iRacing. You expect his teammates flying, you got to think he's got some speed in that 15 Ford Mustang. We'll see what he can do as this race goes on. Andrew Niedert in 7th, Matthew Cox 8th, Scott Naslin 9th, Jeff Shutt in 10th, Brian Coughlin 11th, Joshua Watson 12th, Jeffrey Souza 13th, Scott Glasso 14th, and Jacob Musso currently rounding out your top 15. That's as far back as we're going to go right now. Not too many battles, but here's one right here. Joshua Watson is looking to try to work his way back to the field. Slight lockup there. Might have been from the 27 of Jeff Shutt. Ooh, Brian Conklin also is going to go wide. That's going to let him get passed by almost 2 guys. The 96, Jeffrey Souza, he's going to try to sneak by with Joshua Watson as well. Looks like he can't quite make it work that time. Going to have to reevaluate and wait till we get another chance at a passing zone. And it's a fun track, so why not take a ride on board with one of these guys? And let's go to the man that's going around this track the fastest. Hold that thought here. Looks like Scott Glasso. Dave Sanders might have had a little dust up here. Start with Scott Glasso. Not sure what happened to him. Ooh. Gets loose in a very odd section of the track to get loose in. Looks like he goes off track initially. No harm, no foul. Dave Sanders, this was about the same time. He's going to have a little bit of an incident as well here. And it looks like big lockup, and that thing just does not want to turn, has to come almost to a stop. Keeps it out of any wall, no contact for him, and then does Scott Glasso maybe have a little bit more trouble here? No, same incident. Now we got a couple more off track. This is Cody Matthews getting 2 tires, and then once he gets all 4 off, it's a lot harder to get grip. Ooh, goes for a big slide, and there's our first impact of the night. Into the tire barriers goes Cody Matthews. Going to give some damage to the front end of that 10 car. Back live, let's take a ride on board with your leader, Tyler Marble. Looking pretty smooth on the wheel. Oh, man. got a little bit on the wrong side of the rumble strips there. Almost looked like, you know, sometimes when you hit those rumble strips at the wrong time, that rear tire is off the ground and you get back in the throttle. You got to understand it starts spinning, and then by the time that it lands back on the ground, it's almost like when you're trying to do a burnout. It doesn't have the grip because it's already spinning. But man, he looks loose, but he's making it work right now through these S's. Almost looks like he's drifting a little bit down to fourth gear. I think he's going to stay in fourth all the way up to turn 11, and then let's see if he gets all the way down to first here. No, looks like he's going to keep it in second, and that's not too surprising because, you know, the lower you go in gear, the harder it's going to be to get the pedal down off exit, and that might be helping that 48 keep the tires under him as he extends his lead to almost 6.5 seconds now over second place Cody Richardson. Austin Fitzgerald, though, is still looking to see if he can put up a fight to the 46 car. He's still sitting in third. Both of these guys having a solid run, but man, this is looking like one of those races that if Tyler Marble is going to dominate, the only thing that would stop him is himself at this point. He is continuing to absolutely just blaze the field in terms of lap times. Adrian Watts, the rookie, having a good run so far here in fifth. Jeff Marble, we'll see if he can maybe get there and think about making a pass in the next few laps or so. And after that, the whole field has gotten pretty spread out. Taking a look at the track map, shows it really well there. I think Tyler Marble will eventually run into some lap traffic issues. I think it's just a matter of when. Ooh, Johnny McCulchuk, he has also now went off track in the 72 Capital Auto Group Chevy Camaro. Has some left front damage. He did get into the tire barriers there. You know, we talked about you can kind of get away with a lot of stuff here at the road course, but once you get in that grass, you can't really turn out of it. And if you have just a little bit too much speed, there's a good chance you get into those tire barriers, give yourself a little damage. I guess the good news for Johnny McCulchuk is you definitely don't need to worry about aero too much here at Sonoma. Not a very long road course, not a very aero dependent one. Much more technical than anything. And the lockups that we've seen from a lot of these guys too, the other thing you get, not only are you kind of wearing your tires down a little bit more than the rest of the field, if you will, when you start to lock up those tires, but it doesn't turn. Even if it's just a slight lockup, you're almost guaranteed to blow the corner, assuming that you lock up about the time you're going through the corner. So a lot of these guys, you know, they can make adjustments on brake bias and whatnot. We'll see what they decide to do. If, you know, you can't really get it to turn through the corner or you're having too much lockup issues, you think you might adjust some brake to the rear. Right now, Tyler Marble, he doesn't have to worry about making any adjustments. He continues to put down some scorchers. Now does have the gap up to 6.5 seconds. Back here, Jeff Marble looking to see. He might have a shot here at making a pass into turn 11, the rhythm section. Talk about how important it is here, and he's closing up on the rookie, Adrian Watts. Watch for the big dive bomb move here down into turn 11. Got one more set of corners here. Big little bend before the final little kink. Ooh, he got a little loose there. Both guys using that outside rumble strip. Looks like the 15 is going to duck to the inside here. No move that time. Adrian Watts is able to hold him off. Another thing I kind of want to notice is you saw it there. The lines, all three of those guys ran. They ran just off those rumble strips in turn 11. In fact, let's go back here and I'll show you exactly what I'm talking about. Why don't we ride on the nose here of Kyle Oakley, and once he gets this final section as he currently works his way through the S's now, this final kink here is a very speedy section, but if you just miss it, you can see these guys are going too fast to that section to be able to save it. That is almost a guarantee you will hit the tire barriers. Now watch here, let's see the line that Oakley decides to run. Actually, well, this time he misses the corner. Here you go, Matthew Gearinger. He ran that corner about the way I've seen most guys do it. And you see on that, he stays on the blue and yellow rumble strips, doesn't go any lower. Now let's go up here to your leader, Tyler Marble, and from what I saw last time, it looks like he's going a bit lower than those rumble strips, about a lane lower. That's kind of shortcutting the track just a little bit. Let's see if he decides to do it here as he works his way below Glenn Grigsby. Put a lap, sure enough, kind of dives it in there, not so much on exit. We'll see how that progresses as the race goes on. A lot of guys going a lap down here early, just struggling. A lot of these guys would like a caution. And to be honest, I really couldn't tell you just how close we are yet. Going to depend, but if we see a caution, again, it's not necessarily for the wreck that happened at that time, more or less an accumulation of wrecks. Kind of going to give these guys all a break, regroup, kind of fix your mindset, get some fresh tires, and if we have that caution anywhere after lap 20, I would say, maybe to be safe, lap 25, these guys are all going to be good to go on fuel. We still got a long ways left to go in this race. Scott Glasso starting to try to recover. He's almost now actually is back up inside the top 20 as he makes the pass on Bill Benedict. After having that kind of half spin that sent him through the grass, Bill Benedict gets a little wide there in turn 11. Matthew Geiringer in 22nd, moving his way through the field nicely, up 7 from where he started, 5, excuse me. Jared Bundy, the driver just a couple positions behind him, he's the one that's up 7 spots from where he started. Andrew Nieder kind of been on an island by himself here for a little while. But these two kind of continue to go at it. Jeff Marble has just continued to knock at the back door. We know how clean Jeff likes to race all these guys. He had a chance at going for win at, I believe, it might have been Dover on Joshua Watson. I'm trying to remember which track it was. He had a shot at it, was wondering if he would try a desperation move. He didn't. He raced him very clean, very respectful, and that's what he did to Adrian Watts right there. And he just waited. You know, when you're close like that, it really puts pressure on the driver in front of you. If they're not perfect, one slip, that's all it takes. And Adrian Watts slipped up just a little bit there through 11. Not sure if he was intentionally letting him go or not, but either way, that slip up allowed Jeff Marble to go by, and now he's about to be under fire from Andrew Nieder. So you got to wonder if the 03 is maybe starting to fade a little bit. Did he overuse his stuff? Not sure. Cody Richardson going by Glenn Grigsby, one of the lappers. And Andrew Kotska has actually taken over the position from his teammate up to 4th. Austin Fitzgerald up to 2nd. Road course or not, he seems to get better and better as the long run goes on. But Jeff Marble, the cap is now over 10.5 seconds. Boy, at this rate, he might find a way to lap the entire field by the end of this race. We already have almost 2 handfuls of guys a lap down. And we are not even halfway through this race just yet. Matthew Geiringer with an issue. In fact, he was off track just a minute ago. Let's see what happens here to the 31. Oh. And that looks like, is he going to get a little help here? Well, what did we talk about? We said the rhythm section, it's certainly not an area that you want to try 2x2, and these guys figured they'd give it a shot. And, you know, just nothing anybody did wrong. Just ran out of room. That's just how it works. One guy's trying to make that corner. Meanwhile, the 31's trying to make the next corner. It just doesn't work out. Eventually, things get too bundled up. And the 31, who it seemed like was starting to make a little bit of a charge toward the middle of the pack, all of a sudden is going to have to fall way back, regroup, and try it again. There's Todd Shiro losing a lap to your leader, Tyler Marble. That's going to put another one. In fact, looks like 20, I believe that was 22nd on back. You can see it on your scoring pylon on the top, on the left side when it comes back. We still have the top 20 on the lead lap, but not too many more after that. In fact, looks like 23rd on back is not on the lead lap, a lap down currently, and Todd Shiro is currently your lucky dog if a caution were to fly. Jeff Shutt, looks like he's had an issue, so has Scott Glasso. And it looks like he's getting a little hot here. Can he keep it? Oh, a little bit of a lockup, and he's just going to get off track. Rear tires get in the grass. He's trying to keep it on the pavement. Comes around on him, and now he's got to worry about letting all those guys by before he gets it fired back up and going. A lot of no harm, no foul, but I think this is really turning into one of those races where if you don't feel like you have a car as strong as Tyler Marble, Austin Fitzgerald, or even Andrew Kotska, I think the mindset has to kind of turn into, let's just not make any mistakes here. You know, put yourself in a position that a lot of other guys haven't seemed to be able to do. You certainly don't seem to have to be the fastest car, but if you can somehow find a way to go this whole race without spinning, which there is still probably half the field that hasn't, and you might very well find yourself in the top 10, maybe even fighting for a top 5 by the end of this race. Of course, our first stop here at a road course, we got plenty more to come. Let's take a look at the schedule here upcoming in the points battle. Looking at your points, Joshua Watson still leads, no surprise there, but Jeff Marble, a couple times this season, he's really closed the gap, and he's starting to do so again. Austin Fitzgerald third. This run tonight would certainly help try to advance those point standings for him. Tyler Marble in 4th. Same deal. If he gets a win tonight, he might have a shot at moving up a position, if not at least gaining a lot on Austin Fitzgerald. Cody Richardson in 5th. Andrew Neidhart 6th. Alan Pajari in 7th. Andrew Kotska 8th. Sean Kaltenbach 9th. Scott Nason rounding out top 10 in points. Well, next week was originally going to be the Chicago Street Course, but a lot of these guys didn't really want to go to it. So Jeff Marble, the rest of the admins for the FastTrack Sim Racing Cup Series, they said, all right, guys, here's what we're going to do. We're just going to go to normal Chicagoland, Sure enough, that is what has happened here. So that is going to be a very fun race to broadcast next week for 134 laps around the super fast mile-and-a-half high bank. Nashville Super Speedway for 150. We head to Music City that week. Then it's going to be a bye week for the 4th of July week. Back to, well, Super Speedway style track in Hotlanta, as they like to call it. Of course, New Atlanta before we go back to short track New Hampshire, followed by the big fast Pocono Tricky Triangle, they call it. Back to Richmond, where Cody Richardson, the man on the right side of your screen, got his win of the season. Michigan, Indianapolis, I'm excited for that one. Haven't got to broadcast a race at the Brickyard. Going to be entertaining. Then we head back to our second road course of the season, Watkins Glen, for 45 laps. Going to be probably a little bit shorter than this one. And again, the road course is a little bit longer. We didn't miss much since we've been gone, but we did see a couple things that are going to shake things up a little bit. And that's a lot of guys coming into the pits. Didn't expect it. And maybe I shouldn't say a lot, but some of the big hitters at least, nonetheless. Cody Richardson being the main guy that really caught my eye in doing that. He did stay on the lead lap, it looks like. Not too surprising considering, you know, that it's still a road course and at almost 2 miles long. It takes quite a while on pit road for somebody to lap you here, but let's see if we can take a look at what both your leaders, well, not both your leaders, but what were both your leaders run on track right now. There's Cody Richardson in 11th. Yeah, and he's got about half a track separating him and Tyler Marble, so he's good to go. Seems like a little bit of an early pit stop here, though, for Cody Richardson. I'm not sure if he was struggling with the handling and really wanted tires or what the deal was, but I don't think he's going to quite be good on fuel yet. Pitting when he did, we'll have to see. I mean, you never know, but seems like an early out-of-characteristic stop. Meanwhile, we have guys that have been spinning all over the place. Richard Elliott looks like he's gone for a couple slides here. And O2's, that's been one of the really tricky corners for guys. It's kind of a blind corner. Ooh, smacks the left side. Lucky he didn't break a toe link there. Assuming he didn't, that is. So Jared Bundy is going to go for a little bit of a spin here too. And this one just kind of comes around on him. Ooh, goes back up the track. Dangerous spot. And that's a pretty big hit to the front end as well, into the tire barriers. And finally, looks like Jeff Shutt. He must have went for a spin at some point as well. As you see, he was stopped down in the grass. But, man, a lot of struggles for a lot of guys early here. And we just continue to lap off more and more of the field. And we now have 20 cars on the lead lap. Tyler Marble's gap over second place. Still very comfortable, to say the least, at over 11 seconds. Austin Fitzgerald still not able to figure out anything for this 48 car just yet. Going down a couple positions here. Looks like the one of Matthew Cox. We talked about this guy last week. He had a couple mistakes late. Was really fast. Seems like a really clean guy, but you know, as one of the rookies in here, just struggled a little bit on some of the things, but we did get a chance to talk to him last week, and I think there's a lot of potential here. I think this is going to be a big deal. This is one of the Team Watson Racing drivers. They already have 3 of their drivers that have been in victory lane this season, and I don't think it's going to take too long before we'll see him get himself there as well. Jeff Marble in 8th. Cody Richardson has gotten by, and that kind of makes me assume that Jeff Marble has maybe decided to pit. Sure enough, he has. Looks like Andrew Nieder, Joshua Watson, just a couple of the other guys that have. Andrew Kotska, Jeffrey Souza. And at what point do you wonder, does it draw in your leader? Tyler Marble, if he can make it, I would say probably another 2 laps, maybe a little longer before he decides to pit. We think he might be good on fuel. If the fuel window is indeed 30 to 35 laps, some of these guys might have just really been struggling with the handling, and at a certain point, you lose more lap time than it's worth staying out, even if you're trying to make a strategy work. Here's the 48 going by the inside of Jeffrey Souza. Watch the back end of this thing wiggling around. He is on very old tires at this point. Still doing a heck of a job using the rumble strips. But look at the back end of that thing wiggle around. He must have the setup right to be... I know they say loose is fast, but man, the 48, he's got the back end yawed out through the corners. He catches up, looking to put a lap here on the 51 of Jerry Isaacs, one of the Mad Sim Racing drivers. Unlike his teammates, he's not having the best day so far here. But again, still, a lot of things can happen. You never know. You got to try to keep your head in it. And with so many guys struggling at a track like this, it really opens the door. You know, let's put it this way. Joshua Watson, who's been probably arguably the most dominant car so far this season, he's not having a great night. I mean, not terrible, especially when you match it to what a lot of the fields had to go through. But he's not. He's currently just outside the top 10, and you know, he did have a bad break early, so I look to see him maybe catch up a little bit here. But if he doesn't finish top 15, and Tyler Marble goes up here and wins this thing, and all of a sudden the 48 might jump a couple spots in points, we'll have to see. It's going to be interesting for sure. 19 laps in here of 55. We are going to take our first commercial break of the night. Reset, but we'll stick side by side so you don't miss a thing here from Sonoma. Front, now we're going to see a little four-wide action.
Crazy out of the triangle.
Oh, he gets in the lead under the wreck.
3 by 3 entering 4.
3 deep. At the flag stand, side by side, it's going to be Jason Maines winning it at Talladega. Back live in wine country for the Sonoma 109 at Sonoma Raceway. On the side-by-side, there's a little bit of hard contact between Andrew Nieder and I believe it was Jacob Musso. Both guys continue on, but definitely going to hurt some feelings. Andrew Nieder still looks like he's got a pretty fast car under him. Jacob Musso going to go ahead and go into the pits. Pit road here, very interesting as well. Probably the longest, one of the longest pit roads that we go to. It's got that big U-turn on the outside of turn 11 that you have to go through before you get to the main pit area. Definitely creates a little bit more of a challenge for these guys, but Tyler Marble, it continues to work. The strategy that is still leading the way. Now, what's got me a little curious here, again, I'm not sure exactly how it's going to work out for him. Cody Richardson is back up to third. He was the first guy to pit, got himself fresh tires. It seems like he's running fairly decent lap times, at least he was on the fresh tires. Let's compare him right now to what we're seeing out of your leader, and it looks like Cody Richardson, we'll say 115s go up front here to Tyler Marble, and it's, you know, it's kind of, let's see here, 150. Wow, you know, I'll tell you what, Tyler Marble is still actually running faster. Man, that's impressive what this guy is putting down. In fact, the purple might be the best lap of the race. Man, oh man, the 48 at this point, you would almost think this was real life. Somebody would try to accuse him of cheating, but he has been absolutely on rails tonight. So far, by a long shot, the most dominant performance of the season for a single race, that is. And he would certainly like to close this thing out. About 5 laps or so from halfway. He's still got a lot of work ahead of him. Austin Fitzgerald still running solid in second. So those two appear to be, well, at least everybody in the top 10, the two that are still out and kind of on that strategy, I'm assuming looking for one stop. Always love that camera views. You see the guys get really wide before they have to tuck it tight back in. But, you know, I think the one-stop strategy in this case is certainly going to work for Tyler Marble. Is, speaking of the devil, Austin Fitzgerald, he has now pulled into the pits. So has Tyler Marble. And with that, if they can still make the 30 to 35 lap mark, then these guys should be good to go on fuel. We can't confirm that until we get close enough to tell for sure. And we'll see if Cody Richardson can somehow jump for the lead here. I just don't see it happening, though. Keep an eye on this 46. Yeah, and he's just now working his way out of the final turn. So Tyler Marble's still going to have a very comfy lead. Austin Fitzgerald, though, that's where the race is really on. It's going to be a lot closer for him as Cody Richardson flies down the front stretch now into turn 1. It looks like he is going to go ahead and surpass the 74 as they work their way into the uphill section. We'll see how long he can hold that off, but a little bit harder to get past at these road courses unless you want to put a little bumper. So Cody Richardson, maybe if he can somehow find a way to hold off Austin Fitzgerald here long enough, then he puts himself into a position on that final pit stop where he comes out in front. Maybe he somehow holds on to second here. We'll have to see, but you can see that the lead from first to second is still over 10 seconds. In fact, 14 seconds. Tyler Marble maybe a little slow on this first lap, getting those tires up to temp. Ooh, actually gets through the grass a little bit right there. Certainly pushing the track to its limits. Once those tires get heated up, watch this 48. He is going to lay down some very, very fast laps. In fact, I don't think I've seen him lock the brakes up at all or even really miss a corner up to this point. The practice has been paying off. His teammate as well, running the top 5, looking really, really solid here for Team Marble Racing. Let's give a shout out to Brian Conklin. He's doing a heck of a job here in 13th, up a spot from where he started. And how about we go through your running order? Looks like Ryan Shiro in 32nd and Tracy Powers in 31st have retired from the race. So is Jared Bundy in 30th. Cody Matthews, the last place car that is currently still out on track, in 29th. Richard Elliott is in the pits in 28th. Johnny McCulchuk, certainly been a night that he would probably like to forget so far the way it's been. Down 11 from where he started. He sits in 27th. Glenn Grigsby on the pits in 26th. Man, heavy right front damage. Not sure what happened to Glenn. Let's see if we can get a quick replay of it. That's pretty heavy damage. You see, yeah, this is going to be what it's from here. Does he just blow the corner a little bit? No, he actually gets just a slight bit wide. 2 tires barely on the rumble strips, but that's where you're starting to get into the fast section of the track. In that rhythm section, and just plows into the outside tire barriers. Not much he can do at that point. It happened. But back up front, Glenn Grigsby in 26 on the pitch. Jeff Shutt in 25th. Dave Sanders in 24th. How about Matthew Gehringer 23rd? Todd Shiro in the iRacing flag paint scheme, the racing flag, excuse me, he sits 22nd. Jerry Isaacs from Mad Sim Racing in 21st. And Thomas O'Hara, the last guy inside your top 20, just in front of him. Actually, he's going to take a position now from Kyle Oakley, who sits on the pits. Jacob Musso in 18th. Matthew Cox 17th. Jeffrey Souza in 16th. Scott Glasso in 15th. It's going to be Bill Benedict 14th. Brian Conklin in 13th. Scott Naslin in 12th. Ryan Haynes in 11th. Alan Pajari in 10th. Cody Colley 9th. Andrew Nieder 8th. Joshua Watson 7th. Adrian Watts 6th. Jeff Marble 5th. Andrew Kotska 4th. Austin Fitzgerald in 3rd. Cody Richardson in 2nd. And Tyler Marble, of course, the man that's led them all so far, continues to lead here. 25 of 55 laps and about 2 laps from halfway now. Again, expecting, I would say, 1 pit stop for most of these guys and potentially no more pit stops from the 48 and maybe the 74. I think those 2 are the only 2 that really had a good chance at it. Here's a look at Richard Elliott exiting pit roads. He can have a little trouble here. Uphill area, usually a little bit of an easier exit knowing that you're going uphill, but got some damage and not sure if he had a little trouble getting into gear or what, but just kind of slow off the pit exit. Looks like he gets it figured out. He's back rolling now with no issues. And we could go the rest of the season, and this is going to be a big wake-up call for a lot of these guys going into Watkins Glen that we saw towards the end of the summer, that they're going to have to figure something out. Because if the 48 brings the speed to the table then, and you got to assume he's going to bring some for his teammates as well. Jeff Marble, we said he's running solid tonight. Who knows what he can do later at Watkins Glen. So, man, Team Marble iRacing, they've been fast all season, but so far, the road courses, I think we found our road course specialist. And it seems like there's always one of those in the general field, if you will. It's just finding them. And I really didn't expect it to be Tyler Marble. You always kind of think it's going to be one of those guys that maybe doesn't have the best runs on a lot of the tracks. It comes out here and dominates, but Domination so far has been all Tyler Marble. So Austin Fitzgerald has still not been able to find his way around Cody Richardson. They've been hanging around each other, kind of squaring each other up, but the 74 has not found an optimal area to get by the 46 just yet. You see, he's thinking about sizing him up here. Oh, he got a really good run off that turn here, but he's going to get a little wide. Don't think there's any move coming into turn 11 this time, but next lap we might see a pass. The 46 locks it up just a little bit. There's Andrew Kotska, Mad Sim Racing teammates Cody Richardson and Jerry Isaacs. Keep an eye on him as well. And Adrian Watts and Jeff Marble, those two have kind of been like glued together for most of the night. Haven't gotten separated by more than 2 car lengths at just about any point as Jeff gets a little wide. The 03 made a better corner, but it's kind of weird. The front stretch here just not really long enough to get any sort of draft for these guys, so they don't have to worry about that. It's just more who can drive it better technically. And let's ride on board here with Adrian Watts off the roll bar and see if Jeff Marble maybe slips up here while we're watching him. Tell you what, I'm listening to the throttle input here, and you could hear it there. I'm amazed at how early he's able to get into the throttle right now, and the back tires are really sticking and locking up. A lot of guys we see trying that, and it's just not working for him, but Adrian Watts has got it going right now, and Jeff Marble's maybe getting a little smaller, but not by much. Certainly doesn't seem like he's getting any bigger, at least at the moment. You have to maybe move his line around, and then here's Tyler Marble, the man that just continues to put down those scorching laps. Take a ride on board with them through just about this whole lap. Break down some of these sections. The uphill section, a little bit of slower speeds, definitely not the slowest they run. You see right now he's kind of trapped behind the 96, so not too much he can do here. He's looking for a good area to pass. This is going to be his first chance at it if he wants it. We'll see if Jeffrey Souza goes to hold him off. He doesn't. He can't. 48's too fast. Makes the pass there. Guys like to swing out by that wall. This is the second biggest passing zone. We talked about that already tonight. Tyler Marble gets a nice wide arc, sets himself up nice and smooth here for this rhythm section. And those rumble strips are kind of your markers for your rhythm. If you're hitting each of those rumble strips, you're doing something right, but if you're missing them, it's a good indication that you're off and you might want to recheck yourself. The big bending turn that leads into this final, a little bit more of a tighter kink than what we would usually see for a kink. All the way down into turn 11. 130 heavy braking all the way down to second gear on the slowest turn on the circuit. Gets down to about 44, 45 miles an hour. Throttles up, and this is going to be the fastest part of the track here down the straightaway. New tires, they can kind of make this first turn right here stick. See if he can do it right now. Gets up to almost 150 before he has to bail out of it. That's a lap on board with your leader, Tyler Marble, who has the gap now almost up to 20 seconds. He's still got 3 seconds to go, but I think that's very achievable by the end of this race, the way he has been running so far. Cody Richardson still hanging on to second. Austin Fitzgerald not been able to find a way by. Andrew Kotska in fourth. Jeff Marble around extra top 5, and now he's finally been able to put some distance on the rookie Adrian Watts. The 03 still has a lot of speed, but he's going to have a little bit more if he wants to catch Jeff Marble. Joshua Watson is starting to recover really nicely. He's up to 7th. Down 2 from where he started, but you got to remember on that initial restart of the race, and we haven't had any cautions either, by the way, so he's not gotten a break, but on the restart of the race, he kind of got bodied out onto the grass on the uphill section, cost him 10 to 15 positions, and he's had to fight all night to try to make those positions back up. Andrew Nieder sitting in 8th, Cody Colley 9th, Scott Naslin currently running at top 10 in the 22. Yellow flag is out. All right, so we've reached the incident limit, and it looks like the man that's going to bring it out is going to be Johnny McCulchuk. I believe it was the 72, so you know, we're going to show the replay here because this is technically what supposedly brings out the caution. Oh, just another lockup off track. Another pretty big shot into the outside wall here. And that might have been more or less because he got an incident count. So although it doesn't really look like an accident, we've had a lot of single spins, guys getting into the wall by themselves. And the way the cautions work tonight is once a certain amount of those points accumulate up, we do indeed get a caution. And first caution here of the night. And we went 30 laps under green at a road course. Very impressive by all these guys, and we might make it the rest of the way green now at this point. But all 30 laps so far have been led by Tyler Marble. He needs to lead 25 more, though, if he wants to bring this thing home. Cody Richardson in second, Austin Fitzgerald in third. Andrew Kotska, 4th. Jeff Marble rounds out your top 5. Adrian Watts in 6th. Joshua Watson, 7th. Andrew Nieder, 8th. Cody Colley in 9th. Scott Naslin, 10th. Let's go back a little farther here while we are under caution to have the time. Ryan Haynes in 11th. Brian Conklin, 12th. Jeffrey Souza, 13th. Matthew Coxon, 14th. Jacob Uso, 15th. Alan Pajari in 16th. Thomas O'Hara, 17th. Jerry Isaacs in 18th. And it's going to be Scott Glasso and Bill Benedict rounding out your top 20. 21st, Kyle Oakley, 22nd. Matthew Gearinger. Dave Sanders, 23rd. Todd Shiro, 24th. Jeff Shutt, 25th. Johnny McCulchuk on the pits in 26th. Cody Matthews, 27th, 28th. Richard Elliott, Glenn Grigsby in 29th. Jared Bundy, Tracy Powers, and Ryan Sherrill all off track, 30th through 32nd. Let's go back up. I wouldn't be too surprised to see some pit stops there, but, you know, if you're the leaders, maybe you think about not doing it. Let's see if we can see who all decided to pit and maybe who didn't right here. I almost like the idea. I think you have to pit, but so far it doesn't really look like anybody has. And that definitely kind of throws me for a loop. I thought for sure we were going to see some pit stops, but not so much. Had a couple guys here and there. Some guys going to fix damage. Maybe a couple strategists in the back trying to go ahead and pit, get some new tires, see what they can do, but still going to have to go at least one more lap around. So I think on that note, it's a good time to see if we can bring in, man, it's been so fast so far here tonight. Tyler Marble in the 48 car. Here we go. Hey, Tyler, this is all set up in the booth. You got a copy?
Yes, I do. I forgot which button was for yours. Huh.
Well, I'll tell you what you haven't forgotten how to do, and that is be the fastest guy on track all night. You are on rails, man. I'll tell you what, I expected somebody to kind of be the road course specialist, but putting almost 20 seconds on the field in those 30 laps, what's separating you from the rest of the field here tonight?
I guess feel and rhythm. It's all about momentum, feel, and rhythm here on a road course. So I guess I got the knack for it.
Well, we know restarts can get a little crazy here sometimes, and a little surprised to not see too many guys pit here. Do you think if we get a caution late in the run, do you worry about pitting, or do you just try to keep track position from here on out?
Everybody pretty much pitted, so track position's king. But this tire model, it's king.
All right, well, thanks for talking to us. Man, you're looking good. We'll see if you can go ahead and finish this thing off.
And knock on wood, you didn't jinx me, so we'll try to pull it off here and get in the victory lane.
All right, good luck. Thanks for talking to us.
Thank you.
Tyler Marble, the 48 car, looking very fast. So we're going to get set up here for a restart. But that still leaves us time to maybe talk to a couple more of these guys. So I want to pull in somebody else here that's running pretty good. And Cody Richardson, Austin Fitzgerald have both been fast, but you know, his teammate's been fast too, and I feel like we don't get a chance to talk to Andrew Kotska too much. So let's go ahead and let's pull Andrew up here in the booth. Hey, Andrew, this is Austin up in the booth. You got a copy?
Yeah, I gotcha.
All right, well, we just got a word from Tyler Marble, and, you know, as fast as he looks, you and your teammate Cody Richardson are also looking pretty speedy here. Do you think you got anything for the 48 car here?
I hope we do here on this restart. If not myself, I think Cody's definitely got something up from there for him. So we'll see what we can do here on this restart and hopefully hop in front of him here.
We know track position's important. Do you try to kind of get through all the chaos here in the restart and get back in a rhythm, or do you try to get all that track position on the restart?
I think just trying to get back in the rhythms because we still have a bunch of laps here to go, and just hopefully try to get them here near the end and see where we can go.
All right, sounds like a good game plan to me. Hey, thanks for talking to us. Good luck the rest of the way.
Yeah, awesome. Thanks.
All right, Mad Sim Racing looking pretty speedy here tonight, but the speediest of them all has continued to be Tyler Marble. First restart of the night. I think it's going to be pretty chaotic, so we're going to have to make sure we take a wide view. There's the field working their way through the rhythm section, the final section before the heavy braking zone down in turn 11, where you will see the pace car pull off as we get ready to go back green. 24 laps to go, and well, normally when we say that, we'd be saying that's desperation time. That's still a pretty long ways to go here at Sonoma. So I think if you're anybody in the top 10, you know, it's a tough call. You know, Andrew Kotska, he said he wants to go for rhythm, and I think on the flip side of that, there's plenty of guys up here in the top 10 that are saying, I'm going for everything on this restart. I got to get around that 48 if I want a shot at it as we work onto the front straightaway here. Tyler Marble looking for the Geico restart zone. Green flag is back in the air. 23 laps to go at Sonoma. Cody Richardson, he gets a pretty good start, but he's not going to have the preferred lane into the first turn. The 48 of Tyler Marble gets clear. Now we got to watch. Everybody's going to try to be nice and smooth here in the uphill section. No contact just yet. Everybody works their way through clean. A lot better than the initial restart, that is for sure. That little downhill slope right here throws everybody off for this next corner because we talk about it. It's a blind corner. It really is. That's why we've seen so many guys go off. Speaking of off, we got a couple off here. Now we got one spun around in the back. Two spun around. Oh, big hits. The 90, Bill Benedict gets into Dave Sanders. Again, no caution here for total incident counts, but this one is going to bite a couple guys and give a couple some damage. Cody Colley looks like he went off track. Oh my goodness. It was a mess. This starts further back here. Let's back it up and watch. Yep, Cody Matthews is just going to get off track here. He comes back on, but this was up ahead. I'm not sure if there was contact with him and Kyle Oakley or what, but he gets spun around, and then guys just not being able to check up in time. A lot of T-bones going on. Meanwhile, back live up front, Tyler Marble, would you guess that I could tell you in less than a lap, he's already extended his lead out to a second and a half. I mean, this is a guy that's just running no mistakes. Everybody else seems to be having, a struggle on maybe one corner here and there, or a slight lockup every once in a while. I have not seen him slip up once, but, shout out to Mad Sim Racing. Looks like Cody Richardson is going to go ahead and hold on to second. His teammate Andrew Kotska hangs on to third, Austin Fitzgerald fourth. Jeff Marble still running at the top five. Adrian Watts just behind him. No surprise, those two have been together all night. The 0-1 of Joshua Watson, he's going to look for a pass on his new rookie teammate. And can he make it work here? Looks like the 0-3 gets a pretty good run, but it's not going to be enough. Into one of the passing zones. The 0-1 gets it done just behind them. Andrew Niedert. These two are going to have to certainly sort it out here. And looks like Scott Naisland's going to give a little leeway there. And I think he saw what we saw a little bit of earlier here. We'll see what Jeff Shutt and Kyle Oakley can do. Looks like Oakley thinks about a crossover, but there's nothing there. Oh, Joshua Watson. Oh, man, he's gone off track. Just a little bit. Looks like he's going to be able to hold on. Might have just got two tires on the grass or something here through the rhythm section. And he's recovered nicely. Up to 6, almost back inside the top 5. And, with those, we kind of got a lot of incident counts in that little checkup ordeal that we had just saw on the first lap of that last restart. So if we, and then we've had a couple spins, couple incidents here and there since then. There's definitely still another chance for a caution, but I think if we see one, I think it's probably going to be somewhere within the final 10 laps to go. And normally I would say if you're Tyler Marble, you don't want to see that, which he still probably doesn't, but I don't think he's too worried about it tonight. I mean, all he really has needed has been one corner. 1-2 corners at most, and he's been able to separate himself from the rest of the field. Let's go back on board, but this time with second place Cody Richardson, and see if we can see a difference here at all. It's kind of hard to tell on a road course, but and I think that's part of your difference right there. Let's go to the chase view. Notice there how Cody Richardson gets out of it. We saw when we were riding on board with Tyler Marble earlier in this section, he was a lot more aggressive on the throttle, throwing the back end around, and as loose as it was, it certainly made it a lot faster. And then there you go, kind of cutting the entry a little bit, followed by a really good exit, working his way onto the front straightaway, coming to 20 laps to go here at Sonoma. Austin Fitzgerald is now looking to set up a pass on Cody Richardson's teammate Andrew Kotska. And he's going to have to hold it until probably the second half of the track right here. We'll see what he can do. With 20 laps to go here, looking for the pass still. Oh man, Austin Fitzgerald, he got really loose, had to get out of it. He's going to lose about a car length to the 47. He's going to have to regroup, reset himself up. How about a little crank it up here from Sonoma Raceway? Here we go. Definitely a much shorter session of Crank It Up tonight, but we don't have that many camera angles. That's why we do it. And another reason we came back a little early here is because it looks like we had a couple incidents, and when it's highlighted red here on my data line, it usually means it's a little bit more of an egregious incident. And let's see what happens here to Richard Elliott. It looks like he just maybe blows the turn a little bit. Gets really wide, has to let all these guys by. So no harm, no foul for him. Matthew Cox maybe gets a couple of tires in the grass right here as well. Gets a little wide, looks okay here. I think he might maybe overshoot the turn here a little bit. Oh my goodness. Overshoot would be an overstatement. He undershot the turn straight into the tire barriers. Now, those things move in real life. They certainly did not move right there. That was a big hit. Totals that car right to pit road. The 3 of Todd Sherrill was slow exiting, and then Joshua Watson maybe with a little trouble here as well. Down into 11. Good so far, good so far. Oh, he just loses it. Back on the throttle, goes for a big spin. In fact, goes almost all the way back to the other side of turn 11. Little 360 gets it back going in the right direction, but he's going to lose yet again another handful of positions that he worked so hard for to get back. Back live with 18 laps to go, and we might be getting a lot closer to that second caution than I initially thought we would. The gap over second place right now for Tyler Marble is over 5 seconds. Ooh, Cody Richardson. Or not Cody Richardson, a little bit back. His teammate, rather, Andrew Kotz, got a little bit of a slip up. These two are sure trying to go side by side here through the S's. They both know how important track position is setting up into turn 11, but Andrew Kotska finally has to yield. We'll see if he can maybe try to fight back down here in turn 11. But it looks like 47 got a little tight off of 10. Jeff Marble, though, he's looking to take advantage of both these guys. A little 2-for-1. Andrew Kotska puts the bumper to Austin Fitzgerald. He can't quite get under him, though. No harm, no foul, but Andrew Nieder, he's going to see if he can get around the 03 of Adrian Watts. 17 laps to go, still plenty a long way. This 3-car battle is probably the most heated one on the track right now, and this is the battle for third. Austin Fitzgerald seems like the one that's got it. Jeff Marble's now going to look to the outside of Andrew Kotska. He can't make it work. Now he looks for a little crossover, trying to set himself up those big wide arcs, but he's not going to make it work. Really, really impressed by the corner Andrew Kotska put together right there. Set of corners, rather. And just when you think he's going to lose the position, he's able to defend and hold it off. These two still going at it. Andrew Nieder for Team Watson Racing, trying to steal the position from one of their biggest rivals. And that's one of the JBR E-Racing drivers, Brian Conklin. This could be a season night for him. Up in 8th, up 6 from where he started. In fact, anybody that's running on the lead lap here tonight, I would say is having a career night. I mean, it has been a tough race, and we are down now to 13 cars on the lead lap. Like I said, if you're on the lead lap, you're certainly doing something right. There's a look at Scott Nason. Joshua Watson fell back to 10th. Maybe a little further, but that's what he's back up to now. Ryan Haynes having a pretty good run here in 11th. Jeffrey Souza and Cody Colley as well, just outside the top 10 in 12th and 13th. Jacob Musso in the top 15, and Thomas O'Hara rounding out your top 15. Tyler Marble still working his way through one of the uphill sections right now. Cody Richardson still chasing. 6.5 seconds back, and you know, as a driver, I guess one of the things that you get from a road course is usually with about 10 laps to go, if you don't get a caution, you have a pretty good idea of where you're going to finish when they're this separated. And unless something dramatic changes, if we stay green the rest of the way, you got to think Tyler Marble has us in the bag. And at what point does he start to tell himself, you know what, maybe I ought to back it down a little bit. I certainly wouldn't want to accidentally make a mistake. And it's hard as a driver. I mean, you get in a rhythm, you kind of get in that zone. And when you're in the zone, you really don't want to come out of it. You try to stay in it as long as you can. And you do things that maybe you couldn't normally do. Tyler Marble looks like he is on the absolute edge of disaster. But by doing so, he just continues to outpace the field by just margins that are unbelievable. But if he gets that gap up to, I would say, 10 seconds, once we hit, you know, 5, maybe a little bit longer to go, you don't have to back it up all the way, but, you know, maybe go from 100% down to maybe 90%. We get to 5 to go. You still got 8-second lead, maybe a little bit more, just depending on what feels comfortable. But I think the main point I'm trying to make here is don't keep pushing it to an uncomfortable limit once you get to a point where there's just no need to. All it takes is 2 tires in the grass, a little slip up, a spin, and all of a sudden you could bring Cody Richardson right back into the picture. Austin Fitzgerald has pulled away a little bit from Andrew Kotska. Jeff Marble, after he couldn't make that pass when he tried, has fallen about a car length or so back, but he's continuing to look to see if he can try to make a challenge. Andrew Niedert's starting to fade off the back bumper of Adrian Watts as well. Scott Naslin might be looking for a move on Brian Coughlin here shortly. It looks like one of the Musos, but I don't think it's Jacob Musso. And actually, sure enough, it is. And he currently sits, Jeffrey Souza into the pits. It's a little surprising. I can't say that I necessarily expected that one this early. Not sure if he was having an issue or if this is a strategy, but I don't expect any of your leaders here that are going for at least a top 5 to consider pitting here. Your top 5 right now, of course, being Marble, Richardson, Fitzgerald, Kotska, and Jeff Marble. But certainly saw a couple guys maybe tried strategy or just not liking the way the car feels. And, you know, if you're going to race and you feel like you're not having the best night, you still want to be able to enjoy yourself out here running some fast laps. And if the car's not handling, well, there's no point in staying out. Get in, make yourself some adjustments. Maybe come back out and feel a little bit better. All right, 14 laps to go. We're going to take our second and final commercial break. We'll go side by side so you don't miss a thing. Stick with us. Front, now we're going to see a little 4-wide action.
Crazy out of the trailer.
Oh, he gets in the lead on the record.
3x3 entering 4.
3-2. At the flag stand, side by side, it's going to be Jason Maines winning it at Talladega. Back live at Sonoma Raceway here in California. Ooh, Todd Shiro looks like he took a big hit. He's going to go ahead and steer that thing right off track. Man, tough break for the 3 car. Gets it back met. The front end of that thing is destroyed. And this was just coming back from break. Now, he had not been on the lead lap. In fact, the front end had already been destroyed at this point, and this is just insult to injury at this point. Gets it in the grass, and this might have been a little bit of a scare, at least for your leader. The front bumper hangs on for another one. Wow, boy, I bet that was a scare for Tyler Marble. The 3 comes back on track there. That is a really, really close call. And Tyler Marble said the biggest thing for him, I think, right now is just don't jinx him. We wouldn't want anything bad to happen in that case. Something really bad almost happened. But looking at the lead, still continuing to extend it. Got it up to almost 9 seconds. Over the break, we did have a couple more cars spin. That accumulated some incident points. Still no caution, but again, we could be getting close. We're not sure because we don't know the exact number of incidents, if you will, that trigger that caution. There's Andrew Kotska, and we are now down to 12 cars on the lead lap. And all the guys that are on the lead lap, they're pretty much all spread apart. Everybody's kind of got their own island right now. The top 5 haven't really shuffled any more positions. But looking at the track map, you can see that it's kind of a mess right now. We got guys all over the place. And it looks like Tyler Marble, I'd say before this race is over, he's still going to catch at least one, if not two more clusters of lap cars. And, you know, let's actually, now hold on just a second. Before I say too much, I'm going to go up here. Now, the last lap, I'm not sure if Tyler Marble just made a mistake. The lap times, it got a little closer. Marble is still running faster, but I think this lap, Cody might have figured a little something out, at least in one of the turns, but just as I say that, looks like it starts to extend back out. Man, for a guy to be this consistent this long, coming to 10 laps to go, and at this point, he's probably just hoping we can make it to the white as soon as possible. He knows that there's still a lot of guys, a lot of solo incidents, solo spins that have a chance of bringing out a caution. And if we get a caution with under 5 to go, it is going to be absolutely wild, because at that point, you're not as much focused on getting in a rhythm as you are just kind of the other side of that, which is just get every position you can on the restart, because you never know if we're going to get another caution, maybe a shot at overtime, anything along those lines. Just the way these races can end sometimes, and we'll see what happens. But if you're one of a lot of the guys here, I mean, we know Tyler Marble's good on about a mile and a half. Same for Cody Richardson. Austin Fitzgerald has been very fast there. If you come out tonight with the top 3 run, I think it gives you a lot more confidence and momentum, knowing that you can pretty much run fast on any track. Put yourself in Joshua Watson's shoes. He's been dominant. Don't get me wrong. He's definitely not losing any confidence, but he certainly maybe got the momentum that he really had working hurt a little bit here tonight with just kind of every time he would pick himself up, he got beat back down with maybe a little slip up, got himself in the grass, either a spin out, falls back a bunch more positions, has to make them all back up, and he continues to do it, but certainly it can take a mental toll on you as a driver at a certain point. He's getting by Brian Conklin here down into turn 11. You can almost bet on it, if not a little sooner here, but I think he needs to be a little patient here. You can tell he really wants to do it. He's going to try the hard way around. Nothing there. Now he's going to look for a little crossover here. 37 to the inside. The 01 has nowhere to go. He has to put on the brakes. Now he is going to get to the inside of Brian Conklin. Going to make a big braking maneuver down here into turn 11. You can see just able to outbrake him. I don't think Brian Conklin raced him too hard down into 11. I think he knew Joshua Watson was faster. No point in getting yourself in any excess trouble. Ooh, saw some smoke there in front of Tyler Marble. Not sure if he locked the brakes a little bit or what, or if that was somebody that was in front of him, but probably gave him a little scare there as well. Oh, Richard Elliott, Dave Sanders, some more issues here. The 02 slow. Looks like he's getting back up to speed now. Saw Dave Sanders with an issue. Looks like he might have stopped and went to the pits. And if you are just tuning in, we appreciate you being here. You know, I gotta say out there for anybody watching, first time doing a road course, and it was a little bit different, a little bit harder. I gotta be honest, I wish I would have maybe had or prepared myself a little bit more. Wasn't quite expecting what I got here tonight, so I do apologize for that, but I certainly appreciate everybody being out here, and I hope you still did enjoy. I tell you, next week is going to be a fun one at Chicagoland. We're going to see a lot of pack action, maybe a couple slide jobs, a lot of hard racing. These next gens are going to be very fun to watch there. Next place, though, I got a broadcast here tomorrow for Ghost Racing Network. I believe it's the Iron Thunder Racing League. They got a championship race tomorrow. We're going to be subbing in for Bryce. Make sure you go check it out if you're hanging around. Of course, we have the Ghost Cup Series tonight. Good time to be around. And speaking of a good time to be around, if you're interested in the FastTrack Sim Racing Cup Series, as always, we got the link in the description, and I encourage you to go check it out. It's a great series. We see great racing, and while we didn't see the full maybe 40-car fields that we're used to seeing, for road course, 30-plus cars is certainly a good turnout. And on the flip side of that, you can see just how hard these road courses are, knowing that we started with 32, and on the lead lap now, we only have just, well, in fact, we have just over 10 now at 12 cars still hanging on the lead lap. Not by much, that is for sure. Gap over second place, Cody Richardson is still hanging around 8 seconds. So what it's looking like here now is the gap has maybe started to even out. Let's compare those lap times again between your two leaders. Now the bad news here is it's not going to matter at this point, I don't think. And, you know, all we know, maybe Tyler Marble is starting to back it off just a little bit. You see the last 3 laps, Cody Richardson, he's been a bit faster here. The one lap, looks like Tyler Marble must have had a pretty big slip up as he was half a second faster, but then the next 2, only about a tenth, and with 7 to go, he's going to have to start kicking off over a second each lap if he has any plans on catching the leader. Just not something that I realistically see being possible, but we've certainly seen crazier things. Of course, we saw Sean Kaltenbach get the win at Kansas with what looked like a destroyed race car. Oh, Bill Benedict in the dirt. Oh, man, every time I see that, that gives me a scare for Tyler Marble's sake. Whew. And he's going to work to the inside here of Cody Colley. No issues there for the 48. I think part of those lap times, the reason they were slower may have actually just been this lap traffic here, which is what's really causing it. We got a couple more innocent spins here for some of these guys. Continues to add on to those incident counts. Boy, if we get a caution, it is really going to be towards the end of this race. That is going to make for a chaotic finish, to say the least. Joshua Watson looks like he was able to get that position from the Team Marble iRacing driver, so he now moves up to 8th. Still down 3 from where he started. Andrew Dieter in 7th, Adrian Watts in 6th, Jeff Marble in 5th, and it looks like him and Adrian Watts getting ready to go at it again. These two have done it a couple times tonight, and it looks like Adrian Watts is ready to see if he can get by the 15 for the hopefully the final time here. With 6 laps to go, he's got to set him up. You know, in road courses is one of those things too where it is a ton of fun to do it as a driver. It's almost like a mind game. You know, we talk about at tracks like Daytona and whatnot, that it's kind of like a chess, but road courses, it's really a game of chess. And when do you make the move? You know, if you go for a move and it's not at the right time, you lose a bunch of spots. If you go for a move at the right time, maybe, oh man, the 03 big curb hop there for Adrian Watts. Oh my goodness. Looked like a plane with the airtime he got off the curbs that time, but it looks like that's going to cost him about a car length or 2 off the back of Jeff Marble. Tyler Marble still holding almost a 2.5 lead. In fact, it's almost down to 7 now. He's looking to work by Kyle Oakley here. The 17 is going to get well out of the way. No issues there. Next up in line is going to be Matthew Gearinger in the 31. There's Ryan Haynes and Cody Colley behind him, both not on the lead lap. 5 laps to go at Sonoma, and if we can make it to the white flag, then this race will be official. I do think a lot of these guys are going to like Watkins Glen a lot better. I think we'll see guys run a lot better at it as well. It seems like Watkins Glen is, I almost like to say it's a lot more simple of a road course, if you will. It is going to be faster than Sonoma. And I think it is. It's definitely bigger, to be honest, but not quite as many of these bendy turns, rhythm sections, if you will. Just kind of a little bit of a simple layout. We got the uphill S section, that super long straightaway, the bus stop, a carousel. Everything else is just basic right and left-handers. And I think we might see a couple more guys be a little bit more competitive. Watch for Cody Richardson, Austin Fitzgerald, Andrew Kotska, even Jeff Marble. All these guys that came with fast cars tonight come even faster for Watkins Glen. And Austin Fitzgerald, as we're coming to 4 to go here, he might be looking to take over a position now from Cody Richardson. We saw this during the last green flag run. Took a while, but the 74's car finally came in enough where he was able to get by the 46. He's looking to do so again here. 4 laps to go up front for Tyler Marble. But the 74 of Austin Fitzgerald, that's where the real storyline lays down, because this is going to be the battle for second. Gap is down to almost 6.5 seconds now. But again, there's just still too much time with only 4 laps to go. Tyler Marble can pretty much put it in cruise control at this point. All he's got to do is keep it on the track. Austin Fitzgerald, he tried to do it the long way that time. Tried to jump to the outside, didn't work. Going to maybe cost him another car length or 2 and a little bit longer. Let's go up to Tyler Marble here from your blimp cam. There he is. So you can see the difference. There's the Sonoma drag strip, of course, one of the big grandstand areas. Rhythm section, I see one of the lappers, but I was going to bring up the track map here, and you see it looks like Tyler Marble's probably only going to have to contend with 1 more lap car, maybe 2 at most. But it's looked like he's only going to have 1 more lap car to deal with the rest of this race. That's good news for him. Maybe not so good news for Cody Richardson or Austin Fitzgerald, but these two don't care about that because the battle between them is on right now. And if you're Cody Richardson, you can't really just give up this position anymore, so he is going to have to try to drive a defensive line. Austin Fitzgerald, though, he's going to look to the low side. Nothing there. Does he dip out here into turn 11? He doesn't. He's going to stay nice and patient on the brakes. He knows he still has plenty of time. And if he can use one of these lap cars as a pick here, that could be another way to get around. Cody Colley's going to respectfully hop off track, let these two continue to go at it. 3 laps to go at Sonoma. 2 more times to make this thing official. Tyler Marble's gap is now back up to almost 10 seconds, so you got to assume whatever time he lost must have just been because of the lappers. Austin Fitzgerald's looking for another move here to the outside. He's going to have the preferred line. Can he make it stick? He tries, but now Cody Richardson gets to the inside again on the preferred lane. And if Austin Fitzgerald's going to have another chance at the pass, it's either going to be right before the rhythm section or at the end of it here. 74 back to the outside. You see Cody Richardson driving a very defensive line as they both jump to the inside of Kyle Oakley. Ooh, Austin Fitzgerald got really, really loose. He's going to lose another 3 or 4 car lengths there. Johnny McCulchuk looks like he's had an issue. So is Scott Glasso. Tyler Marble will be coming to take 2 laps to go this time. Final chance for a caution. Jeff Marble still in 5th. Andrew Kotska, he has been hanging around 4th. We've been talking about his run all night, staying inside the top 5. Adrian Watson looked like he was going to have a chance at passing Jeff Marble, but must have had an issue. He's fallen back to 7th. Andrew Neidert in 6th. Joshua Watson in 8th. Brian Conklin 9th. Scott Nason rounding edge top 10. Ryan Haynes 11th. Cody Colley 12th. Jacob Musso 13th. Jerry Isaacs in 14th. Thomas O'Hara 15th. Kyle Oakley in 16th. Matthew Geringer 17th. Jeff Shutt in 18th. Scott Glasso 19th. Richard Elliott 21st. Johnny McCulchuk 22nd. Cody Matthews 23rd. And everybody else on back has retired for the race, so we're not going to bother going over it right now. Jeff Shutt, as you see here, he's getting lapped. He had been on a roll the last couple weeks. Isn't going to help his case here, but again, you know, if you're not a driver that's good at a road course, the biggest thing that you got to make sure you do is just not overthink it. Sometimes it's just not meant to be, and a bad day is not by any means going to be the end of your race. A bad day here is okay. I think the 27 is going to recover nicely next week. But on the flip side of that, Richard Elliott, I thought this might be one of the tracks that maybe he surprised us all and had a really great run at. But the struggle's kind of continuing for the 02. Currently sitting in 21st, 8 laps down. He's going to have a breakout. It's just a matter of time, but he's got to have it before those playoffs get rolling if he wants a chance at fighting for a championship late in the season. But either way, white flag is in the air for Tyler Marble. One more lap around. You talk about the most dominating performance with an 11-second gap. He can honestly coast to the finish line from here. He probably doesn't even have to stay in the throttle anymore. But the 48, he knows what's been working for him the whole night, so he is going to make sure he does that exact same thing here. Final time here, getting ready to work into the last tricky part of the track, the rhythm section. Gives one final salute to the fans out the window here. They know he's dominated tonight. He knows he's dominated tonight. And Team Marble iRacing looks to bring home a winner in the 48. Still a good run for Cody Richardson, Austin Fitzgerald. These two are going to have a battle coming to line. We will make sure we keep an eye on that in just a moment. We got to go back up front. Tyler Marble working his way to the final kink. Down, diving into turn 11 for the final time at Sonoma. No issues. He gets in clean. He gets out clean. The best performance all season. Who would have guessed it came at a road course? And it's going to happen. Tyler Marble wins at Sonoma. Cody Richardson, Austin Fitzgerald, no move there. Cody Richardson's going to be able to hold him off for second. Austin Fitzgerald dives to the inside, but it wasn't going to be enough. Cody Richardson brings home second at the line. Austin Fitzgerald third. Andrew Kotska fourth. And it looks like Jeff Marble is going to round out your top 5 further back. Andrew Neidert sixth. And the rest of the field going to follow in single file suit. But how about your winner in dominating fashion? Boy, he is going to be very, very pleased with his performance tonight. He came so close, so many different times throughout the season. I think back to Auto Club, and I think he had a car to win, but just a mistake. Boy, no mistakes tonight. Talk about disciplined. Man, oh man. This guy could not make a mistake. Maybe a little lockup here and there. Executed on pit road when he needed to. Executed on the one restart we had all night. And he wins, and he is going to be a threat later at Watkins Glen, to say the least. Tyler Marble, your winner at Sonoma. He's going to come and burn it down. While he does so, we're going to go bring top 3 in for interviews. We'll be right back. Back live at Sonoma Raceway. We got top three in the booth, but we're going to start first with Austin Fitzgerald, who brings it home third in the 74 car. Austin, you got a copy?
Yep, I got you.
Well, hey, man, for a road course, heck of a finish tonight. You looked pretty fast. Saw you battling with Cody Richardson towards the end. What more do you think you needed to try to maybe take home a second place?
It's just really hard to pass here. What I needed was to do a better job on restarts. I'm really mad at myself for just starting horribly. I mean, from the very beginning, when the green flag waved, I just got a horrible start there. And then after that caution, got a horrible start too. Both times I was in second place and I fell back to fourth. And to pass, P2 and P3 to try to get a run on P1, I mean, it's hard, But, I felt bad at the beginning there. I took Cody out. And, so I was just trying to race some ultra clean at the end there. I didn't want to wreck him again. But, yeah, I'm kind of sick of P3, but, hey, I'll take it.
I'll tell you what, I would certainly be happy with a P3 at a road course. But, hey, we're going to head to Watkins Glen later in the season. How do you feel about your chances there?
Honestly, Sonoma's a better track for me, but I love road courses all around, so I'm looking forward to it for sure.
All right, sounds like a plan. Hey, before we let you go, though, tonight, is there anyone you want to thank or shout out?
Yeah, as always, I thank my wife, Vanity, my kids, Acoustic Design Systems, my sponsor, and their support in it. And, of course, I thank Dynamic Autosports and all their help. It's been awesome being on the team, and I feel like it's really helped me with my speed. So, yeah, and thank you.
All right, well, thank you for talking to us. And one more time, congrats on the third place finish.
Thanks.
All right. That was Austin Fitzgerald. Let's move on to your second place finisher, Cody Richardson. Cody, got a copy?
I gotcha.
Well, two of the Mad Sim Racing drivers that looked really fast tonight were you and your teammate Andrew Kotska. You bring home second, and I mean, hey, it's got to feel like a win after how fast the 48 looked tonight. But do you think maybe if you had a positioning on the restart, maybe you get by the 48, do you think you had a shot at the win at any point during the race?
I don't think so. I mean, this was a race for second place. It looked a lot like the Xfinity race last weekend with Kyle Larson out 10 seconds ahead of the field and everybody else fighting behind him. And I don't think maybe if I would have gotten in front of him, I would have at least got a lap led, maybe for a lap or two, but he was just so fast everywhere. I don't think there was going to be any holding him off. I'm honestly lucky I was able to hold Austin off at all. But we had some pretty hard racing between Austin, myself, and Andrew the entire race. On the restart, Andrew got around Austin, held him off a little bit, and that probably got me second place. I think another couple of laps, and Austin would have worked me over, probably found a way around. Almost gave it up with 2 to go, made a couple mistakes into 7, and a couple of mistakes through the S's, but just through that defensive line, and it worked out good. There's only 2 passing places here, really, at this track, and just defending to both of them, and nothing he could do, really.
Well, we are seeing more and more of these good finishes being put together by Mad Sim Racing. As a team, what is it that's kind of, I guess, the light switch that all of a sudden, I mean, we know you got to win earlier in the season, but what is it that you guys all of a sudden showing so much speed week in and week out?
Well, I think it comes down to our working also. At the beginning of the year, our intermediate package, we do all our in-house setups. Our intermediate package was a little bit off. Since we started the year at a bunch of intermediates, it never really showed our speed. We made some adjustments, made some changes of that in Charlotte. Was our first great intermediate run that we've had. Our short track and road course package has been pretty good all year long. So I think it's been there. We just didn't have the setups or anything to be able to get us where we needed to be. You qualify bad, you run bad. There's just no getting around anybody. You got to qualify good, qualify in the front to stay in the front, and that's we've worked on our qualifying, worked on our setups, and been able to get up there.
Well, a good run finishing on the podium tonight. Before we let you go, is there anyone you want to thank or shout out?
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you up here in the Ghost Racing Network broadcast booth, putting on a good show every Thursday for us, or every Monday for us here. Man, I'm so tired, I don't even know what day it is right now. This track will kick your butt for sure. Thank you to all our sponsors here, Alloy Wheel Repair Specialist, Butt Kicker. I'm sure I'm going to miss some there for the league, but FastTrack Sim Racing League for putting this on and putting this group together. I want to thank my team, Mad Sim Racing, and all our sponsors that are on my car there, especially Javicki Insurance being our primary sponsor here for me and Andrew on Monday nights. I want to say hi to all the friends and family out there, specifically, hi, Mom. Can't forget to do that. She'll be mad at me. And I want to just tell everybody to check out madsimracing.com and intotheapex.com. New podcast every weekend.
All right, sounds good. Make sure you check it out. All right, hey, thanks for talking to us, and congrats one more time on that second place finish.
Hey, thank you very much. Hopefully I'll be talking to you more.
All right, hey, sounds like a plan. Cody Richardson looked fast tonight. We'll see if we see him fast at Watkins Glen. All right, let's bring in your winner tonight. Easily the most dominating performance of the season in a single race. And that man, Tyler Marble. Tyler, you got a copy?
Yes, I do.
Well, I got to start with the question everybody's wondering. How was it that you ran over 10 seconds faster than the rest of the field the whole night?
Just hitting my marks, being smooth, just keep that rhythm and momentum up for sure.
Well, that thing really looked loose a lot of times. Now, we know we're going to head to Watkins Glen here later in the season. Do you think you have just as good of a shot?
Oh, I absolutely love Watkins Glen. Home track, about 2.5 hours, maybe 3, depending on traffic and whatnot. From here, I'm from Buffalo. We're just outside of Buffalo, so it's I'm looking forward to Watkins Glen, man. I just got a long way to go till we get there, but man, I love Watkins Glen, and I'm looking forward to that too. But one race at a time. We'll look forward to next week now.
Well, I got to ask, with a performance this dominating tonight, you got to assume it certainly builds some momentum, not just for you, but the team. I mean, from this point on, what do you really get from this to move on to next week?
Optimism that we got speed, that we can compete. This team, that we definitely needed it. As a team, I needed it. Points-wise and for morale, and so it's nice to break the winless streak there. I'm not gonna tie or break the winless streak in my career, so that's good. But looking forward to Chicagoland next week. Yes, we're racing next week, so tune in. It's gonna be a good show. Abrasive, fast, mile and a half. Yeah, I'm looking forward to it.
All right. Well, before we let you go tonight to enjoy, well, your first place trophy, if you will, is there anyone you want to thank or shout out tonight?
Yeah, first off, I'd like to thank you for broadcasting. You do a great job, and yeah, support this man and Ghost Racing Network, this whole channel. They do a great job. I'd like to thank Alloy Wheel Repair Specialist out of Richmond for third straight year. Oh, well, our entire existence is our third year as a league. So thank you for sponsoring our Cup Series. Butt Kicker coming on board, giving a lucky driver at the end of the season a butt kicker. Sim Racer Hub for a great place to keep track of points. Iris and iFlag, Fast Eddies. I like to shout out my teammate Brian Coughlin. Struggles on the road courses, but a P5 in the truck race Wednesday and a P9 here. It's out of 32 cars. That's pretty stout. Keep it up. And yeah, thank you everybody, and we'll go to Chicago the next week. Try to keep the momentum up.
All right, sounds good. Well, one more congratulations from me up here in the booth on your win tonight. We'll see you next week.
Yep, see you too. Thank you.
Thank you. All right, Tyler Marble on the 48 brings home the win tonight, finishing second. Cody Richardson, Austin Fitzgerald in third. Fourth, Andrew Kotska. Jeff Marble rounds out your top 5. Andrew Niedert in 6th. Adrian Watts, the rookie, in 7th. Joshua Watson, 8th. It's going to be Brian Coughlin in 9th. Scott Naslin in 10th. Ryan Haynes, 11th. Cody Colley, 12th. Jacob Musso, 13th. Jerry Isaacs in 14th. Thomas O'Hara in 15th. Kyle Oakley, 16th. 17th, Matthew Geiringer. Jeff Shutt, 18th. Scott Glasso, 19th. And Bill Benedict. I'm going to get your top 20. Richard Elliott, 21st. Johnny McCulchuk, 22nd. Cody Matthews, 23rd. 24th, Todd Shiro. Jeffrey Souza, 25th. 26th, Matthew Cox. Alan Pajari, 27th. Dave Sanders, 28th. Glenn Grigsby, 29th. Jared Bundy in 30th. Tracy Powers, 31st. And rounding out the field tonight in 32nd. Issues wasn't able to start the race is going to be Ryan Shiro. Well, as you heard, we head to Chicagoland next week. Going to be a good one. If you didn't enjoy tonight, it doesn't matter, because I can promise you, you are going to enjoy next week. And while it may have been a little rough up here in the booth at times, I certainly appreciate everybody sticking with me through it tonight. It was a good race. One more congrats to Tyler Marble. I hope everybody did enjoy. And until next week, have a good one.